Ristorante Paradiso, a slice of life anime that follows a girl named Nicolette who decides to travel to Rome to confront her mother's husband or her stepfather after years of being abandoned with her grandparents. And she does end up having her mother lie to her stepfather, saying that this is the daughter of a friend, and she just goes along with it and starts working at the restaurant, as well as finding an attraction to one of the workers there named Claudio. Let me go ahead and get all the good points out of the way before I go on my tangent. I like how some of this is played out. I like how they draw out the beautiful sceneries from Rome. The architecture is beautiful. I love how the characters themselves are older people. That they're a bunch of older men and they're good friends with each other. Seems like a decent place to work where everyone can get along at some point. I mean, you even see Lucendo invite everyone to his grandson's birthday, and they make it almost like a restaurant theme. They clink glasses, they cheer, and they have a pretty good time together. What I also do like is how the older gentlemen are swooned over by these women, that they're like, oh no, these people are actually pretty damn good looking for being older gentlemen. Even when you first see Nicoletta show interest in Claudio, it's like, oh, you're the dude from the restaurant. Yeah, you're kind of hot. She shows actual attraction towards him, even though she's 21 and obviously he's older. It's interesting to see that in anime with a younger woman being interested in a much older man. I also really enjoy Nicoletta's progression in cooking. I mean, you do see her, she at first becomes like almost like a prep cook. She's learning from Theo, and he's obviously very judgmental over her, but at the same time, he himself was a rebellious person when he first started off in the kitchen. Even when they have this tasting to start up a new menu when they're coming out for their spring food, you could tell that between the older two, they know each other's tastes, they know how they cook, so they're a little bit more lenient on how they describe their flavor. As for when it comes to tasting Nicoletta's food, it's a little bit more harsh. Then again, she hasn't really prepared any food of her own for them to try before. And as much as she gets excited, hoping that they'll think that her food is just as good, if anything, Theo brings her down and he's not very critical when it comes to judging her. He just kind of says blatant statements. And even though with both of the times that they try it, her food is less than par, but the good thing is that she does remember what they do tell her, and that is that everyone starts off as an amateur. Like, no one gets to that high point automatically. And I like that they have to put that mentality for her that no one started off, making masterpieces right away. That's an impossibility. You have to learn these things to become skillful at them. What I really enjoy is when they get to that last meal and she decides to make something that her grandmother used to make her. She knows that their food is delicious, but when it gets to hers, they're like, oh, this would be fine for a normal person, but this is a restaurant. And you do see those restaurants where they use their grandmother's recipes, but they bring it up a notch for the higher level of quality that it needs to be. As for hers, it would be fine if she was making it at home for like a huge family. And she accepts it. She accepts that, you know what, you're right. This would be fine if I was making it for family. This is not fine in a high-class restaurant. But what kind of like warmed my heart is seeing her kind of just, it stung her heart a bit, but she was okay with it. And then when Claudio brings in the plates and he said actually he thought it was really good, it's just, not for the restaurant. And she starts crying. And to me that was very heartwarming, and just a little bit of reality that does happen when you feel like you've failed, even though it's not bad, but not for the quality of where you're working. Now let me get to the things I fucking hate. I would like to go ahead and say that Nicoletta's attraction to Claudio is fine and all. I don't care if she decides to go for an older man. That's whatever. What I can't fucking stand is episode 2 of having her with Claudio and then having her realize, well, he's very attractive. But her just going, oh, well, are these feelings real? And then she tries to force herself onto him, and he literally just lays there and takes it. And holy shit, like, that's one of the reasons I had to stop watching this anime for like 3 days, because I was like so conflicted on what was going on. I'm like, this is almost rape of an older man by a 21-year-old. What the fuck? And then I come to the main fucking problem of this series, the mother. Fuck her. Fuck Olga. Literally, she ditches her daughter when she was a little kid because she wanted to marry someone, but they said that they don't like women who had kids. And because she was a divorcee, that was a problem. So she literally dropped her daughter off with her parents and said, oh, well, they're gonna take care of you now, and left till never came back. That's why Nicoletta left to go to Rome to go find her stepfather and let him know that her mother's a liar, a piece of shit parent, and that this is the truth. I hate that when Olga tells her husband, oh no, this is a friend's daughter, and she just goes along with it instead of speaking out for herself. And I guess this comes from a place from personal aggression towards people like this, but fuck her. And even as her daughter continues to work at the restaurant, she says nothing. And when it comes to her husband knowing, she doesn't tell him anything. If anything, she keeps telling Nicoletta, oh, well, we'll discuss it later, and it never fucking comes. There's even a part where she's planning her big birthday bash, which she always has at the restaurant. They make her food. She invites guests. She does not invite Nicoletta. And her reason is because, well, my reputation is at stake. Are you fucking kidding me? That is still your child. I don't give half a flying horse stick what happens. That's bullshit. And then when Nicoletta proves herself and actually makes her mother's birthday cake as her present to her, her mom finally admits that, oh, well, this is my daughter and this happened. And he said, yeah, I fucking know. Her husband tells her that he knew already. And of course she gets scared and she's like, well, you said you didn't want a woman who was divorced and had kids. And he said, yeah, at first I would have preferred a woman who didn't, but the word he used was preferred, not a requirement. And of course she cries and she says, oh, well, can you forgive me? And Nicoletta just fucking forgives her. That infuriates me. I mean, just the mother alone made me want to stop watching the series at episode 1. The almost rape scene at episode 2 made me drop that shit so hot I had to step away from it for a couple of days to go back to it. I would recommend this series alone on the good aspects of it, the cooking, the relationship between everyone, especially Gigi. Gigi's the shit, but I personally would not recommend it to anybody. But if you like this type of slice of life, a little bit more mature slice of life shows, go ahead. But for me, I'm never watching this fucking series again. Fuck this.